In just under 1 quarter, my business partner and I did over $150,000 in sales on TikTok Shop. We were live streaming every night, orders were rolling in, and we genuinely thought that we had cracked the code to this platform. Then TikTok banned us, no real explanation, and they're sitting on nearly $4,000 of our profit that we'll probably never see. This is the full story, the year of grinding that almost broke us, the accidental discovery that changed everything for us, and also our decision to walk away for a little while knowing that there's still a ton of money left on the table. So let me take you back about a year and a half ago where all this started. Me and one of my best friends had started an LLC, and we were just kind of doing what every other TikTok shop creator does. We were making a bunch of videos, just pushing out content every day on different samples, and trying to figure out something that worked. And to be honest with you, some of it worked really well, but that's strictly in terms of views. We had multiple videos hit millions of views, literally millions of views, and you'd kind of assume that with those millions of views, there'd be a lot of traction for sales. It didn't. The sales just did not follow. And this was one of the most confusing and humiliating things I've ever experienced in business. You're just watching your view count climb and climb higher and higher, and you're expecting all these orders to come in, so you're refreshing your page and it's just crickets. There's nothing there. We did keep at it though, because we figured maybe this was kind of a fluke with some of these videos. They weren't performing as well because they're a little more entertaining focused and not so much call to action. And we also had an LLC. We had a real thing behind our name, so it kind of kept us accountable having that figure of authority now as an LLC and, you know, actually having a name to ourselves rather than just a couple kids doing this as a side project. And I want to be clear about something. I'm going to be straight with you the whole video. The $150,000 I mentioned at the start is GMV, gross market value, meaning that's not actually profit. I didn't make $150,000 in profit, but that's the total amount of revenue sold in terms of its market value. So it's basically the total sales value processed. A lot of people on the internet throw around their revenue numbers and kind of claim that it's their own profit and they're keeping a big percentage of that. I'm not gonna do that to you. That's not what this channel is about. So here's where things kind of started to change for us. We go to Penn State, it's a huge school, and with that enormous student body, naturally there's gonna be a bunch of people doing the same thing as us. But there was one person who stood out a lot. It was this kid that we could see clearly went to Penn State because of the backgrounds of his videos, and he was getting a ton of engagement and comments and views and all this stuff. So we decided to reach out. And at this point in time, we were still a little skeptical that TikTok Shop was even a viable method of making money because we had experienced the success with the viral videos, but none of these sales seemed to come through. So we're talking to this kid and he's showing us his numbers, and honestly, they're just so mind-boggling that it seems too good to be true. Like the amount of money he's pulling in didn't even seem to be real. We thought genuinely it had to be fake. Then he goes and buys a G82 M4 competition, and I think that's when reality kind of started to set in for us. So when he told us we were approaching our videos wrong, we listened because he has the credibility to back it up. So we changed our strategy, our whole approach. Instead of making entertainment style videos where we really just focused on virality and getting a ton of views on our product page, we focused on pitching the product, like using selling points and really kind of making it more like an ad in a traditional sense rather than a common TikTok. So with this approach, we did start to see more sales come in consistently, not nearly at his level, but there was some more traction in terms of views to actual conversion rates. So this was real progress after months of getting views and not really converting. Then one day we had our best video yet. We had $150 in commissions off of one single video, and it was a Snapchat style video. So it was basically something that was super low effort. We didn't do any talking. We just threw a sound over top and had the Snapchat text banner on the bottom. And it was eye-opening because it was such a low effort video. And we realized we could pump out a lot of these per day and maybe make some real money here compared to what we were doing beforehand. And this was actually when we came back to school after summer. My business partner and I live on opposite sides of the state. We were coming back to school, and as I was driving, I remember just refreshing the dashboard, checking to see how much I had made off this one video. So we got back to school, there was still some momentum, and I was telling my boy about it, and we decided to try TikTok Live Shop. So there's actually two ways of making money with TikTok Shop. You can do it through videos with product affiliate links on the bottom of the screen, and live streams where you have a product and you basically just pitch it the whole time and people can come in and buy it from your live stream. We'd gone live a couple times before with some random products, but didn't have much success. And also, to be honest, it felt a little more like a wage job where you're behind the camera promoting it the entire time. You have to stay engaged, whereas the videos could generate money for months. So it was more like passive income that way. But this time was different. We went live with the product and the sales were just rolling in. I'll never forget the feeling. It was just euphoric. It was like something had finally clicked, something had finally worked. All this time, all this trial and error, this was the moment that everything changed, honestly. It was like this exact moment in time. It was a constant stream of orders. Everything was coming in. You could see them on the live dashboard, and it was super exciting. And also, since this wasn't a new product for us, this was one that we were making videos on, we already knew what worked in terms of conversion. So with this big audience and people in the live stream, we would just constantly say the pitching points and re-engage the audience, and a lot of them would convert. So from this point on, we were all in on live streaming, going live every night, and the momentum was just building. We were learning every day how to create urgency without being annoying, how to be genuinely authentic to the audience so they trust you and then they convert. And it was just a generational run, to be honest with you. And the numbers started to stack up fast. We really saw this compound in real time. We had our first $1,000 live, $1,000 in commission, and eventually 5-figure months. And this is in profit too. And this just kept building for the next 4 months, and we actually hit $150,000 in GMV, which at 20 years old for both of us, we kind of felt invincible. Like, this was a really new feeling, and it felt unreal. I feel like I have to add this just as a little bit of proof. I'm not lying about any of these figures, because I know a lot of people do. So I'm just gonna go ahead and refresh the page and kind of show you. Obviously we've been banned, so no money coming in recently, but if I go back, I can go to November is the earliest. Anything before that, I can't go back, even though August, September, and October were our greatest 3 months. Been unfortunate, but I do have the screenshot still. So yeah, as you can see, like, the commission was way down from the previous month. But yeah, all the graphs are here. They do work. Just wanted to throw that up as a little bit of social proof. Our previous jobs before this, we were making like $20 an hour on a really good night with great tips. So this was just unbelievable. But then the ban. A few months ago, it stopped. We got banned off of all 3 of our accounts that we were live streaming on for seemingly no reason. So I'll kind of walk you through exactly what that felt like and how it happened, because if you're starting a TikTok shop or you're doing it actively, you might want to hear this. And there was no warning about this. There wasn't a strike. There wasn't something saying we were close to the line. It was just bam, out of nowhere, left hook to the chin, and we were completely banned. It was permanent temporary it was permanent restriction on access to e-commerce permissions. So basically we had no ability to sell on the account anymore. We were still able to scroll videos and stuff. We couldn't link any products or go live with anything. Pretty much one day we were running our business and the next minute we weren't. So yeah, we appealed multiple times. And if you've ever experienced TikTok, you know what I'm about to say. It's like appealing with a brick wall. Like, you're never going to get through with it. It's automated responses, it's bots. There's very poor customer service. So we were basically just screwed. While this was going on, we had also started 2 other accounts, got them up to 10,000 followers with this crazy method. And we were streaming on those, and the ban on those 2 accounts was short to follow. They had told us that somebody had violated the platforms on a Wi-Fi or IP address that we were using. But even though we told them we go to a massive school where there's 40,000 kids here, they didn't have it. They weren't hearing it. So somebody violated it, and we got screwed for it, apparently. And then there's the money, which is the other issue. So TikTok has a 30-day holding period after the product is delivered to the customer, where they can make returns or whatever, and then they'll give you the money and it finally clears. So you always have like a pending income and then an actual income, and it says like available to withdraw. Well, there was no withdrawal button. It is just completely locked in to the account, and the realistic outcome is that we're probably never going to see that. This is pretty heartbreaking, if we're being real here for a second, because it was something that my friend and I had worked for over 1.5 years to build, and then finally for it to just be taken away overnight, it was just crushing. And it felt like we were so powerless, because you really can't do anything against this. Your appeals are all automated, so you don't really have any power. You can't talk to anybody. And the people that we did talk to basically told us there was nothing we could do. But I do want to say this because it is important, and it's something that I believe. I genuinely learned more about business in this 4 months of operating my LLC than I have in my entire 3 years here at college. Like, nothing here has taught me the same amount that running something in real life, doing it yourself, managing stuff by yourself and with your partner. Nothing will teach you that like something practical. Yeah, the real world is the masterclass. You can't replicate that in a classroom, but that's my 2 cents. Here's the thing though. TikTok Shop is real. The money's there for anybody skeptical. Our friend's M4 is sitting in his driveway. We had $150,000 in sales. All this stuff did happen, and the opportunity is there. So I don't want somebody to not start or not try it out because they saw this video. But there are a few things that I wish somebody had told me before we went all in. So here's what I'll share to you now. Number 1, withdraw your money regularly. Do not let it build up on the platform. You have 2 options. You have automatic withdrawal or manual withdrawal, which automatic does every 7 days, and the manual you do whenever you want. We had manual on one of our accounts that had the $3,000 in there, and we wanted to do a little bit of LARPing, I think, was the plan. Kind of stupid. So yeah, we were kind of flexing like we had all this money in the withdrawal in the bank account, and then we got banned out of the blue and they kept it. So don't make that stupid mistake. Number 2 is to diversify from day one, because as soon as your business depends on one platform you don't control, you're literally only a policy change or a flag away from your entire business being wiped out. So you don't want it to be your only revenue stream. Number 3 is to actually take a look at the rules and guidelines. You don't want to promote something that'll actually flag your account or ban it, because then you will lose everything. So I know it's boring, but actually take a look at it. And number 4 is, while you're posting videos, you might as well build an audience in parallel on another platform. I just started with Instagram, Clifford Creative. Just been doing some random videos on there and they get some traction, but now I actually have another platform with some clout on it that if something goes wrong, I still have another following. It's not like a banned TikTok account that's basically useless for me. And then I can kind of funnel those people around to different areas, and you got some people who support you. So where are we now? Where is my head at after experiencing all of this business nonsense? I don't think we're done, honestly. I mean, the $150,000 just proves that this is a working industry, but now with all these things that we've learned, we're gonna approach it much differently when we do get more accounts up and running here. So yeah, we're not gonna be totally reliant on TikTok anymore. I am starting this YouTube channel. I'm also doing my Instagram at the moment to try and build a following on multiple platforms. But at the end of the day, we wanna own a lot more of the equation ourselves. We don't wanna just have one platform where they can flip a switch and end everything that we've just built. So yeah, I'm just gonna be documenting the whole process on this channel, the wins, the losses, the next business model. No inflated figures, it's gonna be real, straight up business stuff. If you've been through something similar with TikTok Shop, a payment hold, a ban, something like that, drop it in the comments, because I'm really curious to know how widespread this issue is. And if this video helped you or saved you from making any of the mistakes that we did, then a like and a subscribe goes a long way when you're freshly starting a channel. But thank you for watching this whole thing. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one.